The conflict in Ukraine could spiral and spread in many ways, and one focus is now on a tiny breakaway state within Moldova. A series of mysterious explosions in Transnistria hint at a possible troubling new front. Fears are growing that the territory is about to play a crucial role in the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. Here's why. Officially, Transnistria is part of Moldova, a strip of land wedged between the rest of the country to the west and Ukraine to the east. But in 1990, as the Soviet Union collapsed, it declared itself to be an independent Soviet republic. Moldova left it as a de facto breakaway state, but it's still regarded internationally as part of Moldova, leaving the territory and its nearly 500,000 inhabitants in limbo. Since then, and this is why it's so important, the territory has retained close ties to Russia and is heavily dependent on Moscow's support. A towering statue of Vladimir Lenin stands in the middle of the main square in its capital city, Tiraspol. It's home to over 1,000 Russian troops, and its economy is reliant on Russian subsidies.
We're not afraid. We 30 years live in peace with Russian soldiers. 30 years ago we have a war with Moldavian. We not want we want peace with Moldavian, with Ukraine. We're not dangerous.
I have never lived in a recognized country, at least, well, yes, I have during the first 7 years of my life, but I don't remember how it is, so I'm perfectly fine with the way that things are now.
The concern is that Russia is beginning to create its own justification for using Transnistria to cut off the southwestern corner of Ukraine. But with Moldova's long-term standoff with the territory, this invasion could lead to Russia intervening directly inside the rest of Moldova.
Our future as an independent state does depend to a great degree on how successful Ukraine is in fighting for its independence, in resisting, and ultimately surviving as an independent state.
Moldova is constitutionally neutral. It has no functioning army and does not have the protection of either the EU or NATO membership. On April the 25th, CCTV in Tiraspol, Transnistria's main city, captured the moment in broad daylight when 3 men fired rocket-propelled grenades at the state security office. No one was injured in the attack, and the men escaped. Russia blames Ukraine for the attacks, but Ukraine insists that this is a planned provocation by Russia. The attacks happened days after a senior Russian general claimed that Russian speakers in Moldova and Transnistria were being oppressed. They are arguments which echo those used by Russia to justify its invasion of Ukraine.
Moldova has a large contingent of Russian speakers, not only in Transnistria, but in Moldova proper. And they've been real sort of effort to mobilize Russian speakers in favor of the war in Ukraine. So Moldova is something that Russians would like to see in Ukraine. The Russian war and the Russian forces actually being welcomed by the Russian speakers and ethnic Russians in Moldova. And this may also be something that they really would like to see. This is not the end of the story. Ukraine is the beginning. If Russia succeeds in Ukraine, Moldova will be next on the menu.
The Kremlin took the surprising step of publishing its intentions for this next phase of its war, and it specifically mentions Transnistria. According to the Russian Ministry of Defense, its 4 main objectives in the next phase are to take over the Donbass in Ukraine's far east, create a land corridor from there to Crimea, blockade Ukraine's Black Sea ports like Odessa, and then, it says, to control southern Ukraine, creating an exit to Transnistria. Phase 1 of Russia's war was a comprehensive disaster and resulted in a retreat from Kyiv and parts of northern Ukraine. Phase 2 is being conducted by a regrouped and rearmed Russian army from the east and under a new command. They may now be in a better position to achieve their goals. With this new threat that Russia will essentially bookend its assault from east to west in Ukraine comes an increased unease for the rest of Eastern Europe. If Russia decides to play the Transnistria card, it could change everything.